Year 8 Delta, question 18. A local newspaper stated that 66,000 people had attended a football match. The number 66,000 has been rounded to the nearest thousand. So that's the key information there, it's been rounded to the nearest thousand. We have to write down the lower and upper bounds of this number. Now on bounds questions, if it's been rounded to the nearest thousand, the first thing we do is work out what's half of 1,000. So 1,000 divided by 2 is 500. So to find the upper and lower bound, we're going to go 500 up and 500 down. So for the lower bound, we would do 66,000 take away 500, and for the upper bound, we'd do 66,000 plus 500. So the upper bound is 66,500 and the lower bound is 65,500. Okay, part B. A different newspaper stated that 66,100 people had attended the match, having rounded to the nearest 100. So, very similar question, rounded to the nearest 100. We have to find the lower and upper bound. Now, half of 100 is 50. So, if we're finding the lower bound, we'll take away 50. And if we're finding the upper bound, we will add 50. So, the lower bound would be 66,150. No, sorry, I've worked out the upper bound there. The lower bound, if I take away 50, is 66,000 no hundreds and 50, and the upper bound will be 66,150. Okay, question 19. If W equals 37 and V equals 21, both rounded to the nearest whole number, find the greatest possible value of WV. Now we want to find the greatest possible value, so we're going to use the upper bounds. Now they've been rounded to the nearest whole number. Now half of a whole number is 0.5. So to find the upper bounds and lower bounds, we would add and subtract 0.5. So for 37, the lower bound would be 36.5, the upper bound would be 37.5. And for 21, the lower bound would be 20.5 and the upper bound would be 21.5. So because I want the greatest possible value of WV, I'm going to multiply them together. I need the greatest possible values of W and V. So I would do 37.5 multiplied by 21.5. 37.5 times 21.5, and the calculator tells me it's 806.25. Now part B wants the least possible value of W squared minus V. Now when we're subtracting, to get a low answer, we need to start with a low number. So I'm going to use the minimum value of W. So I'm going to start off with 36.5 for W. And I need to square it. And now, because I want a least possible answer, I want to take away a big amount. So I'm going to take away the maximum value of V. So I'm going to take away 21.5. So 36.5 squared minus 21.5. So I've put it into the calculator just as it is, and the calculator says 1310.75. So that's the least possible value, because I started off with a small number and I've took away a big number to get the smallest possible answer.